I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, nigga still made Cheeze. Let's go. I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, nigga still made Cheeze. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze, and this is the first official episode. First and foremost, before we begin, I want to give a special shout out to everybody that liked, subscribed, and shared to the channel. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. To be honest, I ain't even know half of y'all like me that much. But all jokes aside, I really appreciate it. Now let's jump right into it. I wasn't able to get everything ready by the time the NCAA tournament had came around. So I want to give a special shout out to the UConn Huskies men's basketball team on winning back-to-back national championships. 2 national championships back-to-back is something great to do. Hasn't been done since Florida did it in 2006 and 2007. So I just want to give a shout out to them. And second of all, I want to give a shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball team. Coach Don Staley doing great things, making history, going to go down as one of the best women coaches of all time. That's 3 national championships since she's been with South Carolina, just adding on to her resume, you know what I'm saying, with what she's been doing as a player and as a coach. So shout out to y'all. So we're going to jump right into it. For everybody that should know, the NBA season concluded yesterday. So now we have we locked in from seeds 3 through 6, and then as you know, we got the play-in coming. The play-in games are locked, so we gonna talk about the play-in games for a little bit, and then we gonna go ahead and jump right into some other stuff. But first, let's start with the play-in games. So let me break it down to y'all real quick for some people that may not know. This is how the play-in works. So you have the 7th and 8th seed. They're gonna play each other. The winner of that game will get the 7th seed. The loser will go against the winner of the 9th and 10th seed. So that's for everybody that really don't know too much about how the play-in work, or some people just still may be a little bit confused about it. So first I'm gonna start with the Eastern Conference, then I'm gonna go ahead and shift it over to the Western Conference. So you know what I'm saying, just go ahead and do it like that. So in the Eastern Conference, you got the 7th seed Philadelphia 76ers going up against the 8th seed Miami Heat. And for the 9th and 10th, you have the Chicago Bulls going up against the Atlanta Hawks. So first I'm going to start with that 7th and 8th seed Philadelphia Sixers versus Miami Heat game. And I'm going to be honest, I'm intrigued by this game a lot. The reason why I'm intrigued by it is because with the 76ers, they got Joel Embiid back healthy, I'm assuming. I know since he's been back, he left a game early due to his knee bothering him or something like that. But I believe he should be good to go for the play-in game. Everybody know you got to put an asterisk beside a lot of them L's that Philly took when Joel Embiid went down with that knee injury. I think he was out for about 2 months. Everybody know if Joel Embiid playing, that Philadelphia more than likely is not finishing as a 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. So this is a great matchup. Everybody know about the Miami Heat, gritty team, playoff Jimmy. You can never bet against them. Coached by one of the best coaches, Eric Spoelstra. That's a team you're going to have to play for an entire 48 minutes. They ain't giving you no break. They ain't taking no possession off. So this is a real good matchup. Philadelphia 76ers, they're 31-8 with Joel Embiid in the starting lineup. So that just goes to show you how dominant Joel Embiid is and how good he's been this year. You got Tyrese Maxey, who's having a career year averaging almost 26 points a game. You got Tobias Harris. Who's giving you 17 points a game, and also you got Kelly Oubre, who's been having a sneaky good year for Philly. I think he's giving you about 15 points a game. So I like that. I like that a lot for Philly. I think Philly gonna be a tough out for anybody. Then you got Miami, like I said. Miami is ranked top 5 in defensive ratings. You know, they can defend every day. They're a very good defensive team. You know, Eric Spoelstra ain't gonna put no team out there that can't defend. So Miami, they definitely gonna defend all over the Florida perimeter, inside. They gonna make it tough on anybody. They definitely gonna make it tough on Philly. You got Tyler Hero giving you 20 points a game. You got Jimmy giving you 20 points a game. You got Bam giving you 20 and 10. And then you also got guys off the bench like Hawkheads. He's giving you 12 points a game. And then you got guys like Duncan Robinson who could come in. He's a flamethrower. He can get hot any given time and, you know what I'm saying, take over a game with his jump shooting. So this is a really intriguing game. I'm going to give once I go over all the games, I'm going to give predictions on what I believe, on who I believe will win and move on and how I think it'll pan out. So the winner of that play-in game will go on to get the 7th seed to go up against the New York Knicks, who just clinched the 2nd seed yesterday with the win over the Chicago Bulls. So the winner of that game will go on to the 7th seed, and then you have the loser will go on to play the winner of the 9th and 10th seed. Now, the 9th and 10th seed, you got the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks. Both of these teams kind of like, you know, middle of the pack. I mean, both had their struggles during the season. Chicago 5-5. What I like to do is I like to base everything off the last 10 games. So you got Chicago, who's 5-5 in their last 10 games. They 21st in defensive rating. Like I said, middle of the pack, kind of like at the bottom a little bit. You got DeMar DeRozan over there, who's having a pretty solid year, always averaging 24 points a game. But that's just what DeMar DeRozan do. DeMar DeRozan a pretty solid player. You got Kobe White over there giving you 19. He's going to be huge for them because he's somebody, you know, DeMar DeRozan going to get all the attention. So you need somebody like Kobe White who can come and, you know what I'm saying, give you that sparkle, you know what I'm saying, be that second man behind DeMar DeRozan. You got Vucevic, the center. He's also a solid player. He's giving you about 18 and 10. So they gonna definitely need that production from him tomorrow. And then also you got Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso is really not more so based on Alex Caruso impact on the game is really not based on scoring. It's based on him coming in, just being that spark. He can hit timely shots. Also, he's a pretty solid defender. His defensive rating is a little bit not quite what it was last year. I think last year he was at like 109. This year he's about at 113. So he's not as good as he was last year, but he's still one of those guys who can come in, give you solid production, be a pest on defense, especially the guys like Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. So that's a matchup that I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And then we're gonna get to the Hawks. The Hawks, they've been 3-7 in their last 10 games. Hawks, I really ain't been, you know, Trae Young been out for a little bit. I think he missed like 28 games this year. And even when Trae Young was in the lineup, they had a losing record with Trae Young. So, but one thing I can say about the Hawks, they one of them teams that you don't want to, in a do or die situation, you're a little nervous because they do have the offensive firepower to take them over the top and win a crucial game. I think they just lost like huge yesterday. I think they lost to the Pacers. They got like 157 put on them. So you know they ain't playing no fucking defense. But the offensive firepower that they have can be scary for any team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Trae Young, who's averaging, when he is playing, Trae Young is giving you 25 points a game. You know what I'm saying? DeJounte Murray giving you 22. They got Bogdanovich giving you 16 points a game. You know what I'm saying? And they just a team that can stick around just by the firepower that they, you know what I'm saying, that they possess on the offensive end. Now, defense, they ain't going to really guard nobody, you know what I'm saying? But offensively, they scurry for any team. So that's going to be a matchup that I'm looking forward to. And with the Bulls, like I said, the winner between those two will play the loser of the 7th and 8th seed. So moving on from there, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my favorite conference. And I'm going to tell you why it's my favorite conference. Because I must put it out there early. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan. So I'm going to move on to the Western Conference. I know a lot about it. I've been paying attention a lot to the Western Conference. You're not saying I haven't been paying attention to the East. It's just being as though I'm a Suns fan. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit more easier for me to pay attention to the Western Conference. So in the Western Conference, You got the 7th seed New Orleans Pelicans going up against the number 8th seed Los Angeles Lakers. And then you have the number 9th seed Sacramento Kings going up against the number 10 seed, number 10 seed Golden State Warriors. So I'm going to start out with this 9 and 10 Kings versus Warriors game. So for the Kings, it's been quite a little struggle in about their last 10 games. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games. I believe losing Malik Monk was something huge for them. Malik Monk, if I'm not mistaken, to everybody should have been the leading candidate for 6th man of the year before he went down with his injury. He one of them guys who can give you that spark off the bench, come in, ignite the crowd. It just bring different factors to the game that, everybody can't. So I think that was a huge loss for Sacramento. What De'Aaron Fox is going to give you. He averaging about 27 points a game. 26 points a game, excuse me. And then, like I said, you got Sabonis. I'm a huge fan of Sabonis. Like, I like Sabonis. I like the way he play. Sabonis is giving you about 19 and 13. That's about what he's giving you. And then I just like they a good coach team. I like Mike Brown a lot. But this game right here, to me, is going to be, just because you're going up against a Warriors team that's so they championship, they've been there before. They know how to win close games. They know how to win tough games. This game right here, to me, is going to come down to the others. It's going to come down to guys like Harrison Barnes. Can he give you, can Harrison Barnes give you about 12 to 15 points a game? 12 to 15 points. Can somebody like Kenneth Murray, can somebody like Keegan Murray give you about 15? That's what he's been averaging all year. So we gonna need him in order for Sacramento to win. They gonna at least need him to give him their average, just because you going up against Golden State, a team that's championship driven. They've been there. They've actually, if I'm not mistaken, they've owned Sacramento. They beat Sacramento in the playoffs last year, but the season series is 2-2. So it showed that Sacramento can compete with them. It's just, I don't know, with the loss of Malik Monk and just in a crucial game. I'm gonna be honest. Sacramento, they gonna have to bring their A game. They gonna have to bring their. I don't care how Golden State look. Regardless, you already know when it come down to it. I ain't betting against Golden State. So now let's move on to the Golden State side of things. With Golden State, they 8-2 within their last 10 games, so they kind of, been getting on the roll lately. Everybody already know you got Steph. He giving you about 26 points a game. You got Clay. He giving you about 18. Basically, you rounded to 18. You already know what they do. They can get hot at any moment, take over a game, shut a building down. That's just what they do. They been doing it every year. You think, oh man, Golden State, they done, or they over the hill, or this is gonna be the last, and they just prove to everybody that they still them dudes when it matter. I wouldn't put them as far as how they used to be, but they still are a competitive basketball team. Golden State still one of them teams. If you see them on your schedule, you play them, you still nervous. You still know what time it is when them boys step out there on the floor. You got Kuminga giving you about 16 points a game. You got Draymond giving you about 8 points, 9 rebounds. But once again, Draymond is one of them guys. Him scoring is not, is not a big factor in the game. Draymond is out there for what he brings to the team, that toughness, that grit. He going to defend at a high level. He going to be an irritant. He going to push, argue with the refs. Just Draymond stuff. But that type of stuff ignites that basketball team. So I think that's going to be a good series. That's one. Not a good series, but a good game for the play-in. That's what I believe. I believe that. I believe that's going to be a good one. Now we're going to move along to the number 7 seed New Orleans Pelicans versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers have actually owned this series 3-1. So they've actually owned this series. They actually just beat the Pelicans yesterday. They was up double digits like in the first quarter. Like first half, they was up like double digits, almost like 30 points. So if you look at the ending score, it's a lot closer than what it actually than what it actually was. Like if you actually looked at the game and seen it, it wasn't as close as the ending score made it seem. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers have owned this series. LeBron, he's averaging 28, 11, and 6 against the Pelicans. This season, AD's averaging 21 and 10 against the Pelicans this season. So they basically had their way with New Orleans. You know what LeBron and AD gonna do when they out there on the floor. That's another team that's scary. You don't want to have to play them do or die situation. You don't want to have to go out there and play LeBron and AD because you just know, like I said, what they do. LeBron, regardless of where you got him, GOAT, whatever. Everybody know what LeBron do when he step out there on the floor, and he's not somebody you want to have to see in a do or die situation. D'Lo been giving them good production. I think D'Lo had 19 yesterday against the Pelicans. He's been averaging 17 in his last 10 games. He's been averaging 17 in the last 10 games. The Lakers are 7-3 in their last 10 games. So the Lakers been on quite a roll. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I've been keeping up with the Lakers just a little bit. All the sports channels, they talk about them. But, the Lakers, they been catching fire at the right time. They've been catching fire at the right time. You know what Austin Reeves going to give you. He out there giving you about 16. But they're going to need, going into this game, and if it leads on to them getting one of them 7 for 8 seeds, they're going to need that production throughout the playoffs. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if they end up getting the 7th seed, you know who they're going to be matched up against. The same team that swept them last year. Yeah. So right now, if they was to get the 7th seed, they'll play Denver. And everybody know what Denver did to them last year. So you're going to need that production. You're going to need D'Lo to keep giving you the production that he's been giving you. You're going to need Austin Reeves to give you that production. You're going to need Hachimura to continue to give his production off the bench. Guys like Taurean Prince, you're going to need all hands on deck but you got to win this game first. And then, you just cross that bridge when you get there. Now we're going to go ahead on to the New Orleans Pelicans side of things. They've been kind of like pedestrian. The last 10 games, they've been 5-5. They looked horrible yesterday. Like, if I'm being honest, I didn't get a chance to watch the game because I was looking at the Suns. But I think everybody was in the negative. Like, the plus minus, I think everybody was in the negative. Zion, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, everybody was in it. So they just had an all-out terrible game. Brandon Ingram, I kind of give him a pass. I think his first game back was yesterday, so I kind of give him a pass. But CJ McCollum is averaging 27, 5-5 through the last 10 games. He's actually caught on a heater as of late. He cooked my Suns, so I know that those hands on that, you know what I'm saying, he's been on the heater. They're going to need that tomorrow if they want to beat the Lakers. Then you have Zion Williamson. He's averaging 25, 5-5 against the Lakers this year. He only had 12 points yesterday, I believe. That ain't going to cut it, bruh. Like, that ain't going to cut it. Going up against the Lakers with LeBron, AD, Zion, you supposed to be a superstar. You got your weight together, it looked like this year. You've been looking good. You know what I'm saying? Pause. You've been, you know what I'm saying, as far as on the floor, you've been looking like you got your weight in shape. You in shape. So 12 points ain't gonna cut it. You gotta show everybody that you that guy that everybody believe you can be, you know what I'm saying, in big games like this, because tomorrow is definitely a big game if you wanna, you know what I'm saying, cement yourself as you going up against the for a lot of people, they go. So, you know what I'm saying, it's time to show why you are who you are. Going forward, you know what I'm saying, they 7th in defensive rating, so they can play defense. For some reason, they just can't play defense against the Lakers. But Herb Jones is is one of those guys who's a good defender, pesky, get in your face kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys who's very good on the defensive end. He was another one, had a negative 20 in the plus minus against the Lakers yesterday. Trey Murphy is another one of those guys they're going to need to step up. He's averaging I'll round it off to about 15 points a game. They're going to need that production from you tomorrow to beat the Lakers, and going forward, if you guys are to get one of them seeds between 7th and 8th, they're going to need that production from you. They're going to need basically all hands on deck. You're gonna need production from Brandon Ingram, Zion, Herb. This is a team y'all have struggled with all year. So that you want to have everybody clicking on all cylinders. They embarrassed y'all yesterday, so we gonna see if y'all can get y'all face back. We gonna see what y'all do. We gonna see if y'all get y'all face back tomorrow. So now I'm gonna go ahead and give my predictions on each one of the play-in games. I'm gonna go back to the East. So if I go to the East, I'm not gonna lie. I had a tough one with this one. 76ers and Miami. I'm gonna go with Philly. I think Philly got the offensive firepower that can negate the defense of Miami. Like I said, I believe Joel Embiid is one of those guys you put in the upper echelons of unguardables. He can do so much when he out there on the floor, and he causes so much attention. You got to pay attention to him. He can bring you out to the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? He could hit the three, hit the mid-range. He could back you down, score, put his back to the basket, score down low. You foul him. He's going to the free throw line, making his free throws. You got, like I said, Tyrese Maxey having a career year. You got Tobias Harris, who can contribute, give you about 15 points. You got Kelly Oubre, who's also been having a good year for the Sixers. And he's giving you about, Kelly Oubre can give you about 15 to 20 points on a good night. So, and then, like I said, you got Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry really just one of them vets. You know what I'm saying? He's been there before, won a championship. He's just one of them vet guys. But I like Philly in this game. I think Philly wins. Philly gets that 7th seed, and they move on to play the New York Knicks. And that will be a series that I'm really, really looking forward to if those two were to match up in the first round. So that means Miami will play the winner of Chicago and Atlanta. And I flip-flopped on that one. At first I had Atlanta, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go with Chicago. I think Chicago has enough. They've been kind of like borderline pedestrian, middle of the pack, but I think Chicago has enough to where they can go in there and beat Atlanta. Atlanta will be coming to them, so that crowd should be revved up. You know what DeMar DeRozan gonna give you. If Kobe White can just give you what he's been giving you, like I said, he's been averaging about 19 points a game. If he can give you what he's been giving you all year tomorrow, that'll be good. Like I said, you got Caruso. He's a guy who can come in there, be a pest on the defensive end, going up against Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. He's one of those type guys who can be an irritant. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, try to get one of them guys off the. Hopefully one of them can have an off game. You know, both of them can go off, but if you can maybe get one of them to have an off game, or hopefully both of them. Caruso is one of them guys who can come in and, you know what I'm saying, just throw their games off just a little bit. Vucevic, I like him a lot. He's giving you about 8. If he can give, like I said, if you can just get your production. If you can just get the production from the guys that's been giving you productions all year, I believe Chicago has enough to come out with the victory. Like I said, I'm never going to count Atlanta out just because the firepower that they have on the offensive end. We know what Trae Young can do. We know what DeJounte Murray can give you. He going to shoot the ball a lot, but we know what both of them guys can give you. We know Bogdanovich can go off any given time. You know what I'm saying? So Atlanta's one of them teams that you can't count out, but I would give the edge to the Bulls in that game. And then if I had to pick between the Heat and the Bulls for that 8th seed, I would get an edge to the Heat just because they've been there before, battle tested. They gonna battle you for 48 minutes. Eric Spoelstra, one of the best coaches in the league. He knows how to adjust. You know, like I said, you got playoff Jimmy, you got Bam, both of them giving you 20 points a game with Tyler Hero giving you 20. You got Hawkheads who can come off the bench and give you a spark. You got Duncan Roberts who can come in and give you a spark. If he get hot, he could shoot the lights out. So I'm gonna give the edge in that game to Miami. So I think you give Miami the 8th seed and they'll head to Boston, and I think you gave the 76ers the 7th seed and they'll head to New York, and that's how the Eastern Conference will round out. In the Western Conference, I'm gonna go with Golden State over Sacramento. I just think, like I said, Golden State's been there before, battle tested. You got Steph. who can go off and shoot the lights out of any building. You got Clay. He can transform back to 4 years ago Clay and give you 25, or even some may get hot enough and go for 35, 40. You know what I'm saying? Just, you never know with Golden State. It's just, that when it matter most, when it's all on the line, Golden State, they one of them teams you don't want to bet against. So I'm gonna get an edge to Golden State. I just think, honestly, Sacramento don't have enough offensively if Golden State get hot. You know what De'Aaron Fox is going to give you. You know what Sabonis is going to give you. But I just feel like losing Monk hurt Sacramento a lot. And I think that's why you kind of seen them take that dip late in the season after Monk went down. So I'm going to go ahead and give that to that one to Golden State. And then number 7, the 7th seed Pelicans versus the 8th seed Lakers. I'm going to give it to the Lakers. The Lakers have owned the season series against the Pelicans 3-1. LeBron has averaged basically almost 30 points a game every time he played the Pelicans. AD's been killing them every time he played them. I just don't think they match up well against the Lakers. I just think D'Lo's been ever since the trade deadline. D'Lo's been playing out of his mind. He gave him 19 yesterday. He's averaged 17 in his last 10 games. So I think if D'Lo can keep giving you that production, then I feel like that's a good thing. And then Caruso can give you about 15 to 16. He can get hot at any given time too. So if D'Lo both playing games it's all for me. It always comes down to the other guys. We know what your stars gonna give you. What are the other guys gonna give you? And I just feel like the Lakers have more so. The other guys can give them more than what the Pelicans can. Like I said, you got Hachimura coming off the bench. He can give you good production. You got Taurean Prince. He can give you good production. You know what I'm saying? As a spot-up shooter, a LeBron driving kick. So I'm going to take the Lakers on that one. I'm not poo-pooing against the Pelicans. I just feel like it's a bad matchup. C.J. McCollum, he's been having a good 10-game stretch leading into the play-in. Zion's been averaging 20 against the Lakers. He didn't do it yesterday. But they're going to need Zion to be Zion tomorrow. They're going to need him to take over the game. At some point, take over the game. Be that guy. They're going to need that from Zion. You got Brandon Ingram, who played his first game yesterday against the Lakers. Probably had to shake a little bit of rust off. I think he'll be better tomorrow, but I don't think it'll be enough to get past the Lakers. You got Herb Jones, who's a good defensive player, but like I said, I don't know what he'll give you on the offensive end. That's the thing. And then you got Murphy. Once again, he's a guy who can score, get hot, but again, it's just about who's shown me consistency. And on my end, I feel like the Lakers have shown more consistency as far as on the offensive end than New Orleans. So I'm gonna get the Lakers the edge on that one. And then that means that the Lakers will get the 7th seed. And like I said, I hope so. We'll end up playing Denver in the first round of the playoffs. So that means it'll be the 7th seed Pelicans will go on to face Golden State. And that'll be for the final, for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of people may be shocked, but I'm going to give that one to the Pelicans. If it goes that way, I'm going to give it to the Pelicans because I feel like the Pelicans match up better with Golden State than they do with the Lakers. I just feel like Zion can dominate Golden State. He could have his way. He kind of can shape back into form against Golden State. You got a guy like Herb Jones, who I think nobody can shut Steph down, period. But if you can just make him uncomfortable, run him off his spot. Herb Jones, like I said, he's been one of the best defenders in the league this year. I feel like he's a guy who can do that. C.J. McCollum, I feel like C.J. McCollum kind of can go off, especially if Clay's starting. If they got Clay in the star lineup, I feel like C.J. McCollum can have his way with Clay. And then I just feel like they match up. I feel like they match up good with the Warriors. I think so. I would get an edge to the Pelicans if that matchup came to be. And I think the last time they played each other, the Pelicans end up beating the Golden State in one of their last couple of regular season games, if I'm not mistaken. So I would get an edge to the Pelicans in that one. So I think the Pelicans would get that final spot as the 8th seed as the 8th seed in the Western Conference, and they will go to the Thunder. Now, let me tell you something, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm so excited about this year's Western Conference and just the playoffs in general, because I legit feel like in the Western Conference that all three of the bottom seed teams, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe they can beat all the top teams in the West. Like, if it pans out to be that Pelicans have to play the Thunder, I believe the Pelicans could beat the Thunder in a 7-game series. If the Lakers have to play Denver, I believe the Lakers can. I don't know. That one right there be a toss-up. Lakers got to get their face back. If that's the case, we got to get there first. But if that's the case, the Lakers got to get their face back. They got swept by Denver last year, but they can make it tough on Denver. I'm not as sold on Denver as everybody else is, but I believe they can make it tough on Denver. And then you have Phoenix, who's the 6th seed, my Suns. I believe they can beat Minnesota. Actually, they're undefeated against Minnesota in the season series. So this is a spoiler. I'm taking Phoenix in that series against Minnesota. So moving along from the play, and I gave my predictions on who I think will win and why. Moving on, now I'm gonna talk about my storylines that I'm looking forward to going into the playoffs. My first storyline, and I'm gonna look right into the camera when I say this. Who has more pressure on them going into the playoffs? Is it James Harden or Paul George? Now, I know a lot of y'all probably gonna say, oh, Paul George, he done came up small. Him and Kawhi been together for a couple of years now. They ain't made a conference. Listen to me. All the pressure to me is on James Harden. The reason why, he was in Houston, took Golden State to a couple of brings, but never got over that hump. Golden State this is when the time when they had KD, Clay in his prime, Steph, and all that. You force your way out of Houston. You go to Brooklyn. Now, I gave you a pass in Brooklyn. I'm going to tell you why I gave you a pass. Because I believe Brooklyn was going to win the championship that year. James Harden pulls his hamstring. He has a grade 2 hamstring injury. Kyrie ended up spraining his ankle. I think it was game 1 against Milwaukee. To James Harden credit, he came back. Basically was playing on one leg, grade 2 hamstring pull. So I gave you a pass for that. Next year comes, we all know what went on with the Kyrie situation, the vaccine and all that, vaccine and all that stuff. That's neither here nor there. You force your way out of Brooklyn. Boom, you go to Philly. That's where you wanted to be all along. At least that's what you said. That's where you wanted to be all along. You was looking forward to playing with Joel Embiid. Blase. The normal stuff you say when you coming into a new franchise. You go over there, same results. I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, he had a huge game 1 against Boston in the beginning of the playoffs, and then it flamed out after that. Then we come in the normal James Harden stuff. Then we come into this year. You unhappy. You call Daryl Morey a liar over the summer. Blase. Force your way out. Philly. That's 3 teams you forced your way out of. This situation that you in right now, it's no excuses. If James Harden, if the Clippers now, we're gonna get into the matchups that I'm looking forward to, but barring injury, if Kawhi and Paul George is fully healthy, if James Harden, now you're not the number 1 guy, you're not the number 2 guy. At bare minimum, you're the number 3 guy. If James Harden cannot at least, we don't even have to say NBA Finals. If James Harden can at least get to a Western Conference Finals, it's over. It's over. And you better not shrink, and you better not go home in the first round. That's all I'm gonna say. And y'all got Dallas who's been on a heater, but If you go home in the first round, trust me, it's over. It's over. This right now, to me, other than Brooklyn when everybody was fully healthy, this right here to me is the best situation James Harden could possibly be in to win a championship. I don't want to hear no excuses. We done made excuses for him for years. We made excuses for him in Houston. We made excuses for him with the Brooklyn situation. We made excuses for Philly. We blamed everybody. If James Harden, I feel like James Harden going into these playoffs, I feel like James Harden has the most pressure on him because this is one of the best situations that you've been in your entire career. This right here is your last dance to me. That's me personally. But we will be watching with a microscope to see, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, what you looking like. So that's one of the storylines that I'll be looking for going to the playoffs. Another storyline is, can LeBron make another deep playoff push? LeBron's coming off of another great year 21. He hit 40K points. Honestly, it's unprecedented. Like, I don't think you could find anybody that's had a year 21 like this. He's just been doing what he's been doing his whole career. Pushing the mode, showing everybody, just doing what LeBron does. He's been actually coming off of a year where he's averaging 25 points a game, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. I dare you to find anybody in year 21 that has had a year like LeBron's had in year 21. So I want to give my kudos to him. And the question is, can he make another deep playoff push? I think the Lakers the Lakers is one of them teams. I'm gonna say that you don't want to face them. I don't care what seed you are. I don't care, you know what I'm saying, who you got on your team. The Lakers is one of them teams that they can push any team to the brink. They can push any team to a 7-game series. They can push any team on the brink of elimination. You know what I'm saying? Because you got LeBron, who's been there. Some people he's his GOAT. Some people he's the GOAT. Some people not. We not here for that right now. He's one. Like I said, you don't want to have to play LeBron in a 7-game series because you know what he bring. You know what he gonna do. Anthony Davis, he went out yesterday with an injury, but from what I seen, he's supposed to suit up tomorrow for the play-in. So hopefully, Anthony Davis is fine. He's played. I think Anthony Davis played about 70-something games this year. So that's good on him. Anthony Davis, he's a superstar. When he's out there, he's giving you about 24 and 13. That's just what he do. That's what you expect from Anthony Davis when he come out there on the floor. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, he could be, you got to get him involved early. Sometimes he'll be a little off, but we expect at least, this is what I'm expecting. When I see Anthony Davis on the floor, I'm expecting 25 and 10. At least 25 and 10. That's a good game for me for Anthony Davis. So I believe the Lakers. I believe the Lakers with what they have, with what they've been. Like I said, they're gonna continue to need the production from D'Lo. They're gonna continue to need the production from They're gonna continue to need the production from Austin Reeves. They're gonna continue to need production from Rui Hachimura. If they can get the production from those guys that they've gotten towards the end of this regular season, I think the Lakers can be scary for anybody, and I honestly think that the Lakers can make a deep playoff push. Now, if they got to play Denver in the first round, that's like the luck. That's like a crazy luck of the draw. But I'm gonna be honest though, I wouldn't argue with nobody who picked the Lakers. Like, I wouldn't argue with nobody who picked the Lakers to beat Denver. So I don't think you're gonna find a lot of people that are, but except probably a lot of Lakers fans. But I wouldn't really be too appalled if I heard somebody say, "Oh yeah, I'm picking the Lakers over Denver." But I think last year nobody expected the Lakers to make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they did. So I think the Lakers are capable. LeBron is capable of making another deep playoff push. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see that. I definitely think they're gonna make it out to play in though. I definitely think they're gonna make it out to play in. And my last storyline that I thought about today that I'm looking forward to going into the playoffs is, can Boston finally get over the hump? we all know young Boston took Cleveland to 7 games. They didn't make it to the finals that year. LeBron was still in Cleveland. Then you had Boston make it to the finals. They end up losing to Golden State. It's just been they've always kind of like got there and then it kind of fizzled out for them at the end. But I think this year right here is the best opportunity for Boston to win the championship. They just extended Drew Holiday 4 years, 135 to 4-year extension, 135 million. Some people may have looked at it as it was a little pricey, but to me, I like it because you need guys like Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is one of them guys, gritty. You know what you're getting from him. He's a guy, he can make plays if the opportunity presents itself. Great defender. He can go out there and guard. I'll say 1 through 4. I'm not going to say quite 5 just because, with the size. But he's strong. Trust me, he's strong. So I like Drew Holiday. I think guys like Drew Holiday, them the type of guys you want on your basketball team. He has that championship pedigree. He been there before. So, I like that. Then you got Jason Tatum, who's having a great year, was in the MVP running. He's giving you about 27 points a game. You got Jaylen Brown, who got a max extension over this past summer. He's giving you 23 points a game. You also got Derek White giving you about 15. And then, to me, this is the X factor for Boston. Kristaps Porzingis. If Porzingis could stay healthy, I think that Porzingis staying healthy gives them their best shot to win a championship because Porzingis is that X factor. Like I said, I wouldn't put him on the echelon of one of those guys that's unguardable, but he's a tough matchup for any team just because of what he's able to do. Stretch the floor. He can hit the 3. He can hit the mid range. He also can go down there in the post, and he's another guy. You foul him, you go to the line, he's going to make his free throws. Big, he's a tall guy, about 7 foot. So on the defensive end, he makes it hard for anybody coming to the paint, trying to score in the paint. He's good around the rim. So that Porzingis is a big X factor. I think Drew Holiday and Porzingis is a little bit more valuable to me than Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday is going to play a big factor in that too. We can't forget about Al Horford, who's a vet. You know what he's going to get. Al Horford is capable of coming in. Al Horford can have a game where he go for about 15, 20 and go 5 for 5 from 3. I've seen it before. And then you got guys like Peyton Pritchard, a good catch and shoot. Good, also a pesky defender, catch and shoot. He can hit open shots from the corner. So I think this Boston team, like I said, Boston is another team. 64 games this year. They've been the best team all year. They ranked number 1 with the offensive rating. They're third in defensive rating. So Boston has just been collectively just the best team all around this year. So I think if any year was the year, this is the year for them to win the championship. Like I said, I'm a Suns fan, so I'm hoping that my Suns can win the championship. But if not, like I said, Boston, I think this would be, if not any other year, I think this would be the year that Boston can finally get over that hump and, win a championship. And win a championship. I like the roster. I mean, you honestly might can consider this with them numbers. You honestly might can consider them a super team. But I like Boston's chances this year to finally get over that hump and win a championship. So now, last but not least, I'm gonna get into the matchups that I'm looking forward to heading into the playoffs. Now, I was gonna pick about 2. I'm gonna just pick one because, like I said, we got to see how the play-in pans out. And then it'll be a little easier to see. But I'm just going, just look at. I'm gonna just pick one for right now. I might do 2. I'm gonna do 2. So the first one that's glaring to me that I am looking forward to, and I think is the best series out of this whole first round, is Clippers Mavericks. I like that series a lot. I like that series a whole lot. The Mavericks have been on fire, 7-3 within their last 10 games. I think you can't really count the last game because they had already clinched the 5th seed. So I don't think they really was, too much worried about that. So really, you would probably say 8-2, but if you want to go on paper, they 7-3 in their last 10 games. Luka's been averaging basically 34 points in within this 10 game stretch. You got Kyrie giving you 27. You got PJ Washington giving you about 13. And I said it, PJ Washington and Gafford, those was huge pickups for the Mavericks come the trade deadline. Like, I like those pickups a lot just because they fit. You got PJ Washington, who's one of them guys. He could play defense, and also he's a 3-and-D. He's one of those guys who can hit timely shots and also play defense, gritty. I like PJ Washington a lot. He just needed to get out of Charlotte. Once he got out of Charlotte, you could kind of see the potential there when he was with Charlotte, but once he got out of Charlotte, now you could see what his production is on a winning team. I like that. Gafford, he was with the Wizards. You could see same thing with him. You could see what he was giving you with the Wizards, even though the Wizards just wasn't winning, so nobody really wasn't watching them. But if you really look at it, you could see that his production with the Wizards, what he can do: athletic, good around the rim. He averaged like 2 blocks a game, so good defender around the rim. One of them guys, Luka like to do that pick and roll. So with the pick and roll, lob it up, Gafford. He actually went on the streak and was about to break Wilt Chamberlain's record for the most field goals made like consecutively. So you could tell he's good around the rim. He's one of them guys who's always a lob threat going to the rim. Luka could just toss it up like that. So I like that. I like that. I like those pickups by them. With the Clippers, the same question. Is Kawhi healthy? Kawhi haven't played. Last game was March 31st against Charlotte. He hasn't played none in April. I haven't really heard anything as far as, I know they said I think it was knee inflammation where his knee was swelling up. But that's always going to be the question mark with the Clippers. Can they stay healthy? Every year is something. Last year he was giving my Suns buckets. And he ended up, the first 2 games, and then next thing you know, he out with an injury. Paul George was already out. Paul George is healthy now, but the main question is Kawhi. I'm going to be honest, if Kawhi don't play, it's a possibility Dallas could sweep them. That's how good Dallas been playing. But if Kawhi does play, I'm still picking the Mavericks, but I think it could go a little deeper as far as maybe them getting the 6 games, even possible going to 7 games. So, I like that matchup a lot. What is Paul George gonna give me? Yeah, playoff P. That's the name you wanted. So Paul George have been known to come up small in these playoffs. These past years. In order to beat this Dallas team, we gonna need regular season Paul George. We gonna need 23, 5, and 3 Paul George in these last 10 games. We gonna need that Paul George. We don't want to see no 5-point games from Paul George. We don't want to see no 15-point games from Paul George. 12. Nah, we need playoff P, who you told us you was. That's what we need. And I already hollered at your man, James Harden. We need you to show up. You the third option. We need you to show up, make plays. You've been averaging about, I think 9 assists in the last 10 games that you played in. We need you to be that facilitator, set the table, set up the offense. So, like I said, that's a series I'm gonna be looking close to. Like I said, I do have Dallas. I think Dallas. If barring any injury, I'm gonna pretend right now like everybody goes in fully healthy. I got Dallas taking it in 6. So that's the series that I'm mostly looking forward to. If everything goes the way I planned, if everything goes the way I'm predicting it to go, I'm hoping that Philly could end up getting the 7th seed and having to go play the Knicks in the first round. That'll be a series that I'm really looking forward to. Like I said, Joel Embiid, if he's healthy, he's one of those guys that he's in that unguardable echelon of players. He's one of them guys that you don't want to have to play Joel Embiid for 7 games. So that'll be a series that I'm looking forward to. You've seen what Brunson been giving you. It's unfortunate that Julius Randle went out for the season, but DiVincenzo has came in and gave you great production. You got, I don't know the situation with OG Anunoby, but when he did get traded to the Knicks and came in, you seen a massive difference with them. So that would be a series I would be looking forward to. And then the last one, if the Lakers end up having to play Denver in that first round, Lakers gotta get their face back. They got swept last year in the Western Conference Finals. This will be the time right here to get your face back if you the Lakers. And if the Lakers somehow manage to be able to get, barring the play-in, we're not going to ignore the play-in. They still got to get the 7th seed. I'm just saying if they do, which I'm predicting that I think they will. If the Lakers if the Lakers can knock Denver out, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a chance that the Lakers might can get to the show. Like I said, I'm a Suns fan, so I ain't buying it. But if the Lakers could get Denver out in the first round, that it should get real interesting. So, like I said, I mean, I ain't gonna really go too much over. I'll get into a little bit more depth on my Suns and this Timberwolves matchup in the first round. But like I said, I'm already predicting the Suns to win that series. I'll dive into it a little bit right now. Cat came back for a second game after being out for a while with an injury. Anthony Edwards been having a career year, but I just don't think they have enough offensive power for the Suns. KD and Devin Booker averaging around 27 points each. As of late, Bradley Beal has been coming on. They beat Minnesota yesterday. Bradley Beal had 36. I think he went 6 for 6 from 3. I just don't think with the Suns fully healthy, I don't think that Minnesota has enough firepower offensively to deal with the Suns in the 7-game series. So I'm taking the Suns in that one, but that's just a little, I just do that in there, a little nugget in there for extra. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right here. I've been talking a little bit. So once again, this is the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. And again, just help me out. We going to keep building up this channel and building it up until, we get to eventually where we want to be. I came up with a slogan for everybody. So the slogan is, when you watching my show, the slogan is no gimmicks, only the real. That's all we talking here. Only the real. And like I said, I look forward to it. I look forward to, bringing in more supporters and everything like that. Once again, don't forget, like, subscribe, share the content, the channel. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. They'll be pinned to this video. And again, no gimmicks, only the real. I appreciate y'all.
I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, nigga still made Cheeze. Let's go. I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today.
You was bony and looking too funny today.
I don't care, nigga still made Cheeze.